Okay, everyone, we're going to be going over class 22 today. We're going to do a warm-up with some break falls and hip escapes to get everything moving. Break falls are essential warm-up movements, right? We have to work on them. They're fundamentals. We're going to be doing some hip throws over the next 2 or 3 classes. So that is a technique that it can be performed safely. We teach it to kids here at the gym, and there's never any injuries. But it's one of those hip throws that we really want to practice following, right? So we'll be looking at all of the break falls we've learned over the program, and we'll add one new idea in today where we're doing backward rolls, and then we're standing up with that. We haven't done backward rolls. We've done forward rolls, back falls, side falls. We're going to review all that, but we're also going to add in backward roll. This will become important later in the program where we're going to kind of go over some sweeps from when someone stands up in our guard. If you think back previously, we were doing some standing punch defense, some punch defense in the guard rather, in addition to our standing punch defense. But we kind of just left off with that stuff on the ground, okay? Well, there's a whole other segment of punch defense. So like the phases we learned, people will start to extrapolate out of that and get away from you and stand up, okay? So that's where we have some sweeps and we have some passes too if we're talking about guard passing on top, okay? So that will come in a little later, so just some context, okay? Now we'll be doing hip throws, 2 arm bars, right? And then we'll be escaping side control. All very valuable things to work on, and just as the program denotes, they're the fundamentals, okay? So let's just get started with some hip escapes here. Just go down, back, just a hip escape backwards. Nice. Good. Go forward, going back. Reach out and pull, do the inverted, yes, good. Yeah, invert the heel. Nice. Slide those hips, just like the hip shovel. Forward hip escape, shrimp, snaky move, whatever you want to call it. Nice. Good. Okay. So now, forward rolls. Okay? We're going to do these from all levels. Let's see first your forward rolls from kneeling position. So that's where we're going to be down on both knees. And the whole goal for me, one of the major points of emphasis, to roll in a straight line as possible. Center up with this line and let's see if we can follow it. Not bad. Little more over the top. Better. Oh, that was perfect. But I just gauged up with that line. That was much better. Coming back, same thing. Better. Nice. Good. Okay, nice. So, and I like what you're doing there, okay? You're just getting up and then you can retract to here, okay? If I fold under, I can do that and retract or go underneath with that leg, depending on what kind of pressure I'm receiving, right? So we use that when people are passing our guard and things like that, okay? Now, let's do the same thing from squatting position. Yes, thank you. Same thing, follow that line for me, go. Good. Good. Always chin tuck, breathing out when we slap. Okay, same thing coming back. Okay, standing. Good. Nice. Okay, let's pause. This is going to come up on the back roll, okay? And this comes up in the stress test of the technical stand-up, okay? Sometimes the person that is pushing you down is going to be Joel, okay? We have a lot of people that watch these videos that are not even from around us, right? If you don't know who Joel is, he's in I just put a video out on our channel about him, right? He's talking about competition rules, but he is playing college football, Pan American champion, won all of his matches ankle lock. He is 265, and an incredible athlete and jiu-jitsu practitioner, right? Everyone would agree. Everyone that knows him, great attitude, right? But sometimes that is the guy pushing you down. And then you can't stand all the way up. And what happens when that happens is you get here. And then you just go like that. And you're back into your base, okay? We're gonna do that on the rear roll, but I just saw you kind of incidentally like, oh man, I kind of put my knee down first. That's not an error. That is a part of the continuum of the technical stand-up, okay? So, standing, same thing, going back, and just getting up in base. Nice. Good. Okay, now, get all the way back here. Running roll. So just get one in. I want you to start the roll about right where the mat's, go there, go, running roll. Nice, good, good, okay? Go all the way back to the wall, same thing, go. Nice. See how you you ever skipped creek rocks before? Yeah. You kind of skipped like your creek rock there. That's how you know you did it right, okay? Now, instead of, so let's say somebody didn't throw you with a sit tomanagi, like that overhead throw, right? I want to see a running roll where you come back up to standing, okay? So be nimble with this, be relaxed, okay? This is riding the momentum that you created there. Instead of, like when you skipped, it's because you stopped the momentum, okay? Running roll, come up to standing, same thing, go. Beautiful, coming back. Nice, good. Walking side falls. Nice, okay. Coming back, same thing, but I want you to try and, I don't want you to necessarily jump with this. We're gonna do that one on the lapel one in a second. But I want you to, I prefer, and I teach everyone the fundamental is to keep your foot on the mat like this, okay? And this foot's on the mat. It's almost like doing a pistol squat. I'm just lowering myself down. I want you to try and think about getting off this foot just a little bit with a, it's like a little jump, but it's not gonna be like the one we're gonna review that we did on the lapel a few classes back, okay? So just try and stimulate that. If you have a problem with that, I'll show it. Go. Yes, there you go. At the very last, and I'll say now, and then I want you to do it. Slide. Yeah, just go for it. Just slide and go. All right, think about this, right here. Right, like right when you're about to complete, bring both feet off the floor. Just both feet are on the floor, and then this one, and then this one. Okay? Try that again. All on the side. Breathe out, chin tucked. Nice. Hey, that was a good one. That was a good one. Okay, time. Now, side falls. All right? This is a classic. I always enjoy doing this one. We would do this in judo class. Is a line drill, right? Everybody would take turns because it helps me work on what we call base in here in judo is called jigatai. Spelled hontai, H-O-N-T-A-I, but that's J-I-G-O, and everybody, it's pronounced like jigatai, okay? It's spelled like jigo hontai, but jigatai, okay? So, and tai means body in Japanese, but it's base. We do this in here all the time. I'm having to do base when you grab the lapel to fall, okay? So let's do this like a walking drill. I'm the post in the middle. And this one, it simulates what you're just doing from the low level, right? But think, anytime you get thrown, we're both standing up. So all of that other stuff is the learning. This is the applying, okay? So get in line here. Walk down this line, you're gonna grab my lapel with your left hand, and then you're gonna stop fall. Go. Good, I'm basic, nice. Just grab the lapel and hold on, and I'll go down with you. Now it's the other side. Grab with this hand. Yes. Okay, whatever side, so it'll be, this hand's gonna grab here. Good. Now just practice that one knee stand up like I was talking about. Look, here, because you can walk forward with that one, okay? Like when I put the leg all the way behind, that's not a retreating one, but it's okay. You're not pushing me back. I'm anchored here, right? My weight distribution is forward, but I'm defending against the push. This, you can come forward with it, right? So we're gonna review that in a second anyway. So walk in here, grab. Beautiful. Good. One more. So you see, I'm dropping down in the base every time you do that, right? So sort of a disguised repetition there too, just drop it, okay? The same, like you're throwing all your weight up, and if I don't drop, you will make me bend over like this, okay? Which will tax my back over just the length that we did that, okay? So it teaches base. Now, so that's, here we did our forward rolls, we did our side falls. Let's do our, we've got back falls and backward rolls left. Let's do back falls first, okay? We're gonna omit doing those from seated today, okay? I just want you to start with like squatting position and technical stand up, okay? We're just gonna go down on this one, so squatting down, back fall, chin tuck, breathe out. Let me hear you breathe. It can be a steady, doesn't have to be a, right? Just breathe, relaxed. Good down spine, there you go. Good. Good, that was a great one. Chin tucked a little more, just a little more. Good. And why chin tucked just a little more? Because sometimes when you get thrown, you didn't expect it. It's a really good throw, and it's so hard. It's like whiplash in a sense, right? And when you keep that chin engaged, as we'll do on every choke defense we talk about in headlock in this whole program, it's just a good idea there too, right? So just kind of at the end of the, at the end of the action, be sure your chin is down like that. Just like if you were grabbing at my throat, I'm gonna put my chin down like that, okay? So good job on that. Let's do standing now. Standing. Good, chin tucked, breathing out, spine, everything is great. Now it's just the nuances. Good, stand up, one more. Okay, so rear roll. Start from a seated. We are going, when I'm showing this, sometimes I use the slap, sometimes I don't. It's just the context, right? Are you getting thrown? Like, what are you doing that makes this work or not work? So, same ideas we're talking about. Breathe out, chin tucked. Here. And then look. Right there, okay? And we're standing up. What we'll do for this, on seated, let's skip the stand up. We'll do the stand up when we start doing this from like a squatted and standing position, okay? So just do the seated repetitiously. And then look how I'm going back down. Okay, cool. Good. Use that slap to help you go back. Okay, good. Now, add in, so we'll just do this from standing instead of squatting, but turn around. Okay, so you're gonna back roll with the slap, and you're gonna kind of land, it's almost like a knee on belly posture. And then from there, when you're here, what I want you to do is stand up. And then you just square up and do it again. We'll probably get 2 down, 2 back. Let's see it. Don't rush that. Drop glide toe, go back. That, right? Drive, push, wait, yes. Good, nice. Glide toe, yes. Push weight back, right? And that's like a sword draw detail as well, right? So think here, it's harder, right? And think we default to this a lot of times because we don't have a shoe on for some reason, I think. But like, if I was in my shoe, I just feel like I would naturally do that, right? But regardless, driving weight back. Boom. Right there. Okay? Very smooth transfer and redistribution of weight. Go. Beautiful. See, and you landed there. Very good. Nice. Okay. And obviously you can do that from seated, but it's just like seated. You can do it from, we omitted the squatting. You can do it from squatting position. Those levels of doing it are to teach you, like, okay, that's how we do it. Okay? So, break falls or ukemi, right, is what that is in Japanese, right? And it just means we're working on techniques that are going to help us take throws. They're going to help us fall, right? A quick story, one time my grandpa, who was at Normandy, at Utah Beach in World War II, okay? And if you don't know what that is, look it up, right? And fortunately for Papa, Utah Beach was the least grueling, right? But the whole area was insane, right? I'm a historian, I've done the research. I've written papers on the invasion and on the individual beaches, right? But before that invasion, they were teaching all of the members of the Army martial arts, right? It's interesting. We've always had an interest in that for our country with our military traditions, right? My judo instructor, Mr. Dean, which is like my original martial arts instructor's dad, he was exposed to martial arts during the Vietnam era in the military. He was Green Beret, right? Well, Papa was too, right? And when he was in his 80s, he was coming down some steps. Like it was like a kind of like an apartment place that had like a second story. It wasn't mine, but he was walking down, and maybe 3 or 4 steps from the top, he fell, and he did a front fall, which we haven't demonstrated, right? And was totally fine. It just blew my mind. Didn't mess him up. You know, you hear about people like that falling, and he said, he's like, yeah, you know, they taught us how to fall like that right before the invasion of the military, like when we're doing all this training. And I just always found that fascinating, you know. So like he's essentially talking about a front fall, which looks like this, right? Which we can do. That's the fundamental version, right? Is just doing from here, from this posture. So it's very similar to this posture, right? Just that same thing, but so you do see front falls. That is another variation. In this class, you know, we will later on see a sprawl, and it looks kind of like a front fall if you think about it. Okay, so that's break fall fundamentals and a good warm up. We're gonna get into some base and clinch work next. All right. Okay, so for our base drills today, we're going to be looking at a familiar clinch, right? If you go back to the first part of the program, we talked about over-under clinch and side clinch quite a bit. So we're going to get back into some of that. We're going to see what we call a body wiring drill that will help us with base, right? It will help us start understanding how to redistribute our weight, right? Which will, you know, for you to understand distribution of weight, you need to understand redistribution of weight, right? To kind of think about, you know, the polar opposites, right? Like there's sort of that binary, and then like what sort of third way could you conclude out of that? That is starting, like if you can get out of this class with just thinking about the 2 ways, that next step is okay, now that's thinking critically, right? So what I want to see here is go ahead and just get in a base. Now anytime somebody's pulling you, you need to turn this knee a little bit. And when you turn that knee, keep this relaxed. You can extend your hips backwards. That's why you got to keep that torso relaxed, okay? You remember how Jack Toffer recently at that seminar was talking about that? And I went over to him, I said, Jack, like I've never heard you say that. And I've done that lesson with him numerous times. He's like, yeah, well, it's the same standing up. It's the same base, right? And that is something he just picked up. You know, like it's the same as when we do standing base. It is when we're on our knees, you know? So we take the belts, easy training tool, right? We can time for different drills, figure 8, horizontal swing, for clinching. We see all sorts of belt drills throughout the program. But this is just tug of war, okay? So you can do it in half or you can do it whole. We'll just divide it up here. But go ahead and get in base. Okay? And if you're training jiu-jitsu, I bet you have a martial art belt on. So like, you know, it's like we don't need padded sticks or anything. So as I go to lean back, you're gonna turn that knee in and turn but before you do that, turn your hips to me a little more. Yes. And relaxed torso. Take the slack out. Pull your elbows in. Yes. Good. Can you go like this? Up and down. Just nice and relaxed. Can you move your knees like this? Good. See, remember, a good base is a mobile base. That means we can step like this. We can go up and down. We can move our knee. Okay, so that relaxed torso really helps with that. Okay, think about the rounded spine we talk about. Think about hips going back and closing your hips. So hips towards me, and then as I start to lean back, just a little bit, not too much, just address just what I'm giving you. So I'm not doing tug of war yet, you are. And that's against all my weight, okay? Now, good. On 3, we're gonna let go. Can you do that with your feet? Yes, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's just like we saw with some of the rear pickup stuff. Maintaining this base is about being able to move our feet, even if we're being heavy. You know what I'm saying? So if you're doing a pickup from the back, like we saw in some of our recent classes, right? Go again. See, you pick me up and my feet got real light, but I still had them on the floor. And you might pick me up and we talked about some things that we can do there. But that is sort of the concept. That when I say the phrase all the time in here, a good base is a mobile base. Base and movement are paired together, okay? And think about fluidity in movement, right? Like, I don't need to just be able to do dynamic stuff. Sometimes it's redistribution of weight, which is subtle, okay? One more time. In a good base, take the slack out here. Good. One, 2, 3. Better. Okay. So just think. I'm gonna have a little play, maybe 2 inches with everything. When I say I can move, right? I'm not gonna be moving my feet a big side step, right? It's subtle. Because like with applying this stuff, we're applying it a lot of times defensively in here, right? I'm applying it to not get slammed. So, or to keep you from moving, or to maintain a connection to you. So we've seen the belt pull drill before. We've seen other belt drills before. But that one's special, right? This teaches some real special concepts. Okay, so we apply that with our side clinch. We apply that with our over-under clinch. Okay, so here, this foot forward, please. So we're gonna come in an over-under clinch. So I'm just gonna C-grip on the tricep here. And if you look here, I'm gonna play here with my palm up. With wrapping his back, it's a little easier to get that Americana. I don't hang out on the palm up side, right? We're doing this, again, it's what we call a body wiring drill. It's so I can find base and maintain it, right? So I can do something like, switch up everything. So I can do something like raise my elbow and go to the side, okay? So we're gonna have that palm up on the underhook side, and we're gonna have a C-grip on the other side. So if I push, and we want shoulder connection. If I'm pushing with this shoulder, right, you're gonna have to, so feel here, right? I'm gonna be pushing with this shoulder here into this shoulder. You push back, right? Good, good, all right, good. And see that kind of twisting you're doing, that's that hip closing. Same concept is where it's seeing with the belt drill, okay? But you don't want to get turned too sideways, so you gotta square up to maintain that base. So let's just find here, right? I'm trying to tilt you side to side. I'm trying to go forward, backward with your shoulders. I can't. If you were a box, and just relax here and kind of, let's say you didn't know this was coming. I'm trying to collapse you. You know how a box, when you take the end open, it folds flat, right? There's all this space inside of it, but you take the bottom out, it just collapses into flat. Think about that. If you do that with somebody's body, here, boom, right? You see like that standing rear naked choke, that's that sort of idea. So with this, that turning your shoulders in, right, is preventing you from collapsing it, preventing you from losing your balance. Good. More connection. See, feel the connection I have here? Yes, that's just I'm thinking almost about my knuckles connecting to here. Okay, here. Yes. Okay, now let's switch everything. Here. Okay, this foot forward. Yes, much stronger base. All right. So, shoulder strike you twice. We'll work on that. I was unable to do this to you, other than the shoulder strike. I was unable to do this to you. Okay, so I was trying to raise and off balance you. You were offsetting it. I was trying to push pull you and collapse your shoulders. You were offsetting it. Okay, so think like what I mean by raising off balance is that, right? That. When I do that, lean into it, maintain base. All right? Can't do it. So, same principles we already know. So, finding base and over under clinch. If you want to do throws from there, you like techniques from there, that's your favorite clinch, it all starts there. Okay? Now, there are different modes of the side clinch to maintain base from. It depends on the stress and the resistance level of the attacker. If they're pulling, if they're pushing, etc. Okay, so we're going to start with the furthest out point of connection, which is just our shoulder, but it's still connection. Then we may step in and get hip connection if there's a headlock involved. And that would be for like a leg hook throw, class 1, right? So, how do I move to the side clinch? Okay, so whatever side I have the underhook on, I want to raise that elbow. And so I walk around to the side. Okay, so what I'm saying is like, look, I have this shoulder connection. I just have my hand on his hip bone, okay? And if Micah starts trying to pull my head down, I come in. That's like a universal. Relax. You've seen this in the previous class. I'm gonna pull you down for you. I'm gonna try and guillotine you. When I do this, you're just gonna step forward and grab me. Instead of going, you might need to do this a little bit, but you're coming in, not going down, okay? And just like, I'm from here, and like what I'm trying to do is this to you. So when you feel your head start coming down, come forward. Right, pull my head down. Right, one more time. So instead of that happening, I was like, oh no, I gotta go forward or he's gonna pull me down. Like that is my thought, like this is ingrained. That's through body wiring. So this is that same concept. Okay, turn this one. Here. Okay, so there, if he start pulling my head down, boom, terrible for me. Okay, he starts pulling my head down, I come in. And I still have that forward leg, backward leg. One facing this way, one facing this way. Okay, if he really starts pulling my head, I step in and I turn the knee to offset. My hips can go back, my hips can come forward. It just depends on what they're feeding, okay? But that relaxed torso and ability to move and stay mobile, that's what we need, okay? So, go ahead and get me to the side, in the side clinch, okay? Yeah, get the C grip on the triceps. Yes, okay. Yes, now I can't headbutt you and you can headbutt me though. Boom, okay? Now, look, you have hip connection, which I really like, but it's not perfect. I will say, like, I laid the hip connection on Hickson at that private lesson. He was like, hey, let's check this out on you. And I was like, okay, yeah. But he wasn't pulling me, so when I did it, it didn't make sense. There was no context. So he'd easily outbalance me. So there's always a win. Like, I might be pulling your head. That's a mode to start stepping in. Okay? If I'm not pulling your head, we don't have to connect this hip because we can be off balanced. And that's the lesson I got. Okay? Step this foot a little more over there. Don't get too, yes. So see, yeah, turn your hips towards me. Even though that foot size, yes. That's so much tighter, right? Can you feel that? Yeah. All you did was turn your torso, okay? Now, relax. Yeah, good. Use your thumb on your grip. Oh, you do that, okay. Elbow down just a little bit. Yes, that's good. Yeah, think about not just down, but connecting to your hip a little bit. Think see, that took the slack out, okay? Connect here, yes, okay. Hold what you got. Okay. So that's you maintained against the pull, right? That's good. And the pull wasn't even necessarily the head. Get everything again. Drop down, nice and okay. The pull was my hip. So maintain. Right? Think about this. Knee turn and hip back lightly when I do that. Ah. A little more knee turn. Don't just turn your knee, your hip goes back at the same time. That way you don't get quivery like that. Now if I push into you, forward and into your toes. Become a wall, into your chest. Yeah. So there. Okay, so if you go to pull, that's when I'm here. Okay? If you go to push, that's when I'm here. And I don't have to come up that exaggerated, it's gonna be here, right? But like, feel what I was talking about with like, it's this quadrant of me or you that's forming the connection. And that coming up is a headbutt. We'll see in a sec, okay? So get your side clinch again. Good. Okay, so I'm pulling away. Little relax, more knee turn. Yes. Yes, that's good. Now I'm gonna start trying to step away from you. I'm pushing in. Nice. Every time I go away, giving you something. As long as you can do those things. Every time I turn in, giving you something, as long as you can do those things. It all starts with finding and maintaining your base, right? Side clinch and over under clinch. I've been doing martial arts almost 20 years. And those are the ones that I did, like when I remember writing down stuff. I started categorizing this stuff at some point, right, as a student. And like, oh, what are my clinches? Well, you know, striking, you know, you get the Muay Thai clinch, boom, right? But like always one or two on that list was over under clinch. It's a fundamental. And I was able to discern that even at the student level because of how much it came up, how much everybody was using it and doing it in wrestling, Jiu-Jitsu, submission grappling, mixed martial arts competition. It didn't matter, right? You see it less in judo, but that doesn't mean it's devoid. I would always carry that stuff over with me when I would train judo, the underhooks and things like that. That a lot of time, judo you rely on just the grips. Okay, so and then this class is like the opposite, right? We don't really emphasize the grips the whole time, a little bit along the way. All right, so good job finding and maintaining base and over under and inside clinch. It's fundamental, but again, it's not easy. It's based off of what you feel. There's a sensitivity to it, almost like strangling someone, right? Almost like figuring out how to take slack out of the joint for a submission. But it's all redistribution of weight, okay? Let's get into now some overhand defense, okay? So what I want you to do is just block with the forearm, okay? And block, yes. And block, nice. Give it a little bend in the knees, yeah, hips forward. And block. This is kind of like a slap defense, or like I'm in kind of enclosed, like indoor situation, and I'm at distance. I'm in punching range. I'm not walking in on you, and I'm stepping in on you. It's just right here, right? Like I'm telling you, getting slapped in the ear sucks, and I'm not above slapping someone in the ear in an altercation. I'm just going to get you on the ground so you can't slap me back, right? So, but here, boom, boom, boom. Cover block now, here, boom, yes, boom. This is just review. We've seen this in previous classes. Now let's use it real quick, okay? Give me this overhand, here. So watch. There's my clinch, go to the side, okay? If you give me this one, here, right? If I'm far away, I'll stab that right into your shoulder where it ties in, okay? And then here. Boom. So we're just blocking overhands, and we're being specific now. Previous points of the training, it's like, hey, just grab me. Now we know how to do this. That was just like, hey, do you remember this? Yes, I do. Okay, it's brief. All right, let's use it. Let's do it. Let's combine it in the specific way with these other things we know how to do. In your base, with your forearm. Okay, now, all right, what I want you to do is come in and over that. Here, this one's gonna go underneath. Yes. Now raise your elbow. When you sunk weight down on my arm, that made it light and open for you to go this way. Okay? And let's find face. Here, here. When I'm pulling away like this, open my arm up, like that, knee me in the body. Boom, right? When you do that, open it, makes the space, and pull me into the knee. Boom, like that, like that. But don't kill me with it. Boom, right? Don't lose balance either. On here, boom, okay? There's another one, right to that part of my thigh, right where you would tie kick, but it's your leg's behind, so you gotta kind of move it a little bit. Boom, right? So here, so I pull this up, pull you in, okay? Or right there, or with the back one. Sorry, the back one's really rough, okay? But I can get it right there, okay? So you got those little knee dips. That's what one of my good friends, Willie, he's always calling me dip. He's like, this is a little dip. I remember the first time I heard him say it, right? It's just like, what's a dip? We don't say that in my gym, right? It's cool. So here, the other thing is, sorry, sort of. You get to do it to me too. You go next. Get that side clinch, okay? Open it up, knee strike with the back leg. Boom, yes, one more time. Boom. Now, get right with the same leg, same knee here. Boom, right? Higher above the kneecap. You don't want to hurt your knee. There you go. And then this one, bip it. Right? A little more on the side. Boom, that was better. Right there. That's, yeah. It's just going to be like we do that for throws. It's like the reverse of that. You're getting it. Right? I'm a little taller too, but you're still, that driving up. Like watch. Kind of like that, okay? So the 2 strikes from there. Headbutt, knees. To the body, to the left. Cover block the overhand. Sink over it. Underhook, raise, good. Headbutt. Boom, nice. Open up, knee to the body. Boom, nice. Okay? Start kneeing me in this leg. Boom, and I'll step behind if you do that. Free hip throw. Right? Maybe you get me to start pulling away, free leg hook throw. Okay? So, forearm block. Sink over it. Underhook on this side. Yes. Find base. Start kneeing. Open it. Boom. There you go. Knee the leg. And then you get to DS. Okay? So that's good. Over under clinch, side clinch, couple entries. Like we just, or either blocking, like, look, give me this again. There's that, right? Again, and back. Wedging with the forearm or with the palm. We see, and I'm using my forearm here. We see this in the context of some of the weapons defense, right? You came to the club defense workshop, we also say it's kind of on the bicep was the emphasis of that, okay? So this is, you can block an overhand in the same way, so you're kind of simulating some other things, but we did this in the cover block, okay? So give me here again, right there. And then that weight. If you're heavy here, look how I can just start coming in, boom, right there. And when you're off balance like that, you're gonna start having to rely on some of those reactions that we were talking about, the pushing, the pulling, etc. Okay, all right. Next, we'll get into some hip throws. Okay, so the fundamentals of the hip throw. All right, there's a couple of different hip throws we'll learn throughout this course, but this one is the most basic hip throw. Okay, all sorts of variations. I could grab your belt. I could grab over the top of your shoulder. I could grab around your head and over the shoulder. With this, we're just going to be going under the arm from a side clinch position. Okay, but we'll see some other variations as we move forward, right? But just today is the basic hip throw. In judo, this is called ogoshi, right? A lot of times on the pronunciation, you might hear a real traditionalist drop the I at the end and say ogoshi. Okay, so, but it's the major hip throw. O means major on that translation, so but we just say basic hip throw. It's the fundamental entry and hip throw we teach everyone, okay? So just real basic idea. If we're in this over under clinch and we're moving to the side here, grabbing the hip bone, if he steps behind to square up with me, that's a free hip throw. So that's the most basic entry. It's just over under clinch here, and I raise my elbow. I get to the side position. If he steps behind, perfect. I've got a hip throw. Okay? So that's entry. Just we worked on side clinch and over under clinch this class. That's just taking a look at that, tying it all together. Now let's look at also the two other entries we did to the side clinch, right? So we want to be able to get to that clinch. We talked about that. We learned how to defend against haymakers, and we learned the side clinch in the beginning of the course. Now we're really putting them together, more so, okay? So what we're gonna do here is cover block, okay? So if you're giving me a hook, I cover block, give me a hook. I cover block, give me a hook. I cover block, right? And on one of those cover blocks, I'm gonna come in, right? Give me that one again, here. And be careful with this, I kind of elbowed him in the brachial plexus tendon, right where your bicep tendon comes in, I spear my elbow into that. And then I can get this over under clinch, okay? I'm gonna come to the side here. So that's using our haymaker defense to get to this side clinch, okay? So this is, more of like a hook or a round punch range. All right, so if he goes this side, I cover block, spear in here. Now let's go this side. Grabbing the hip bone, connecting the shoulder is our point of emphasis there. So what we'll do is block, hip throw, and then we're gonna do, we talked about a stomp over figure 4 ankle lock and straight ankle lock in our round kick defense classes. So this is gonna be a stomp over armbar. When I use that term, it means I'm gonna stomp you some way before I submit you, all right? So this is a classical sequence, but we're gonna block the rear overhand or the rear haymaker, sucker punch, slap. It could be any of that, okay? So here, give me that, boom. Come in, get to the side. He steps behind, I come in, there's my throw, okay? So look, what I mean by stomp over is I go here, boom. And then I can fall back, grab the thumb for the finish. A lot of times we call that style of armbar a shin-in armbar, okay? So he goes again, I cover block and spear, come in, he steps behind, step, boom, okay? So, and I'm always focused on taking care of my partner, helping them fall, pulling up a little bit at the end, having a good base for them, right? I don't want to get pulled over either, okay? So with this, pull up, stomp over, finish. One more. Like that, okay? Now, let's take a look at blocking with our forearm. A lot of times we call this a wedge block, okay? So what we're doing is just using our forearm like a wedge. If he gives me this overhand, boom, like that. So, you know, it doesn't feel awesome when he does that and my forearm hits his bicep, okay? So he goes here and I block, and I want to step and lean into that. And then look, there's my weight. I'm being real heavy here, okay? You can't see it as much. He can feel it. I'm hanging there, and that's what makes this possible, okay? So when he steps behind, boom, same thing. There's two kinds of arm bars here, guys. Slide over here a little bit. We can do the stomp over, or we can do the figure four. And you see there's kind of a special shape. When he fell, he's kind of turned on his side a little bit, okay? If they're turned on his side a little bit, I can wedge and keep him there. If he's on his back, I go all the way across. He's gonna be on his side a little bit, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my hand on the shoulder, wrap, and we're gonna use our figure four grip and leverage that we saw from here. He's just like with the trauma and stress from before. I call, oh man, not that again, right? I was into Howie too, and he was just like, ah. So anyway, it doesn't feel good if you do it correctly. But I'm gonna throw, and when you throw, people are here. I'm gonna drop, and look, it's just like I'm in my 4-point base here. I got feet around this way and this way. So here, what I want to do is I wrap, I take the slack out of the shoulder, I connect to my femur, and my head stays over here. Then I leverage. So let's take a look at that a couple more times. This is the sequence. Forearm block the haymaker, side clinch, hip throw, figure four arm bar from knee on belly. And it's more of a like knee on hip, but this is unique to the situation. I threw you. We don't see this in this program, but you'll understand this. In the sport of Jiu-Jitsu, the sport, you see a lot of standing guard passes, right? And when you do a standing guard pass sometimes against a partner that is on their back, and it works, you'll see them turtle. And when people try and turtle when you pass their guard, they present the hip in a similar way. So you wedge with your foot to stop them from turtling, okay? I'll illustrate that one other way when we go down. But give me this overhand block here, right? And look, here, add that weight onto it. Come here, he steps, wedging right there. Look, try and turn away. Not super easy. You can't just turn, you would have to do something else. Sometimes I'll have people in side control and I'll wedge with my forearm and elbow. It's my palm and elbow, really, right? But that prevents them trying to turn away. Okay? And I show that detail a lot of times after the rear hip throw, okay? Like so, a lot of the throws and takedowns we learn, somebody kind of lands in this position, kind of facing away from us. There's some other situations, but for us, it's takedowns. So let's look at this again. He comes with the overhand, here. That. is the hip throw, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay, we're back with some side control escapes. Okay. When I say side control, I mean that's a comprehensive term for me, right? A lot of times I'll say like head arm side control. Side control, I'm referring to that as all those positions. Kessa, north, south, head arm side mount, cross side mount, all encompassing, okay? All the little sub positions within that. Think of it as a phylum, right? And this is gonna be all focused on the concept of guard recovery against really the two main hand positions from side mount, right? And that's the head arm and then the cross side control where you have both arms over, okay? So this is just gonna be the basics of that. I'm gonna cover a little bit of punch defense in there just for like MMA or self-defense perspective, you know, just survival on bottom. That's key, but like just the concept of getting your guard back and controlling their posture. And if there is strikes involved, not taking any damage before you escape or while you're escaping. That will be the focus, okay? So we'll go over that real quick. He puts me in head arm side mount, okay? So a couple of things. Right now, we'll just do the striking aspect first. Can you throw a punch on me? Just however you want. Yeah, you just pull out your punch, yeah. Okay, good. So you had to pull your arm out and punch. Can you punch me with the other arm? Yes, yeah. You could probably elbow my body with that arm too, right? Yes. And then how about knees to the body, GSP style? Yeah, you see that to people in turtle, but you see it in side control also. You could even, if you were a crazy person, you know, let's say you've been doing drugs, which, you know, we know you wouldn't do that, but let's say you were on bath salts and you were headbutting me, right? Boom, maybe you're trying to bite me or something, right? That Last of Us show got me thinking about crazy stuff like that. But so if this is a scenario, like I'm worried about you attacking with any of those things we highlighted, we're gonna talk about, so normally I cross face and then we call this the candy cane a lot, right? It's just a frame or wedge in his hip. We're gonna take that and we're gonna grab here. We're gonna take this and we're gonna grab right over on the neck here, okay? Just like hooking. And we're gonna pull that apart. That's gonna deal with the upper body strikes, the elbows and the punches, and also the headbutts, okay? Then I need to deal with the potential of the knee, okay? So there'll be just three things. I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna pull here, and then I'm gonna connect here. So I'm driving here into him. Can you punch me? All right, kind of hard. And then look, you know, you're kind of giving me things too. You have to kind of let go when I do this. Okay, when I do this kind of thing to people rolling like this, a lot of times they do try and get up and out, right? Try and get away from this. That's when I escape. Okay, so, but guys, that's some important details we want everybody to know, right? That's self-defense. It doesn't matter if I was training one of our students here for an MMA fight. I would be telling them that same stuff, right? You got to protect yourself. Like, what if you end up in side mount? You scramble, you tripped, got taken down off the cage, whatever, staggered, slipped, anything like that. And you're on the mat now and you're under side control, okay? And there's punching. So here, I've got a good base, good connection, and I can start recovering my bar, okay? Now, that's the basic idea here, okay? I'm gonna now show just the cross face and then this candy cane idea with the forearm, okay? Yeah, he's like, get that forearm off my neck. That's not, yeah, exactly, I know, right? That's why I call it a cross face. It's across your face and right in your neck, okay? And I can kind of raise it a little bit, and I don't wanna over-exaggerate, so I wanna open my arm away from my body, okay? So, is what I wanna do is I wanna get on my side, okay? Now, if he's got a good head arm side mount, go ahead and gable grip. Part of the challenge is this shoulder that's on the inside is getting it out, okay? Like that, okay? The harder is, and we'll cover in a later class, not today, like a real aggressive head arm side mount. There's something we do for that, okay? But here, what we're gonna do
is we're gonna get on our side, we're gonna get this shoulder out, and we're gonna find base here, okay? So I'm trying to become a part of the floor here, right? I'm driving with my foot so my knee connects to the mat so he can't continue to move forward. I slip it inside, okay? Now from here's where a lot of people get hung up, okay? I mean, in my mind, I'm like, I'm good, right? I might have to settle for like a temporary half guard or something, but I'm like, okay, I'm good. Now here's the thing. When I start recovering the guard, right, watch what I'm gonna do with my hips. They need it, right now they're facing this way. I need them to face the same sort of angle in the other direction, okay? So I'm gonna turn underneath them onto my back and then my side, good base. And then close guard with posture control, okay? Emphasize that posture control just so you can be the one attacking, so you're safe. And then if he is striking during the guard recovery as well, that's something we should focus on, okay? So, look, I need to start getting on my side, finding base. If I can't get that knee in, right? So I've moved my hips out and then in, okay? And then getting my head away as I recover the guard. And look, those hips turn all the way, right? So that's sort of the key component is, you know, you'll get everything down when you're here, and I move my hips out and I got my knee in, right? And I'm getting my head away. Against a really strong head arm side mount, I'll go more underneath it, right? But regardless, my hips are facing this way, and then I'm rotating, and look, I've got him down. Let's say if he was going to hit here, boom. Okay, so what'll happen is you'll get jammed down here, bring your knee up tight, and my hook will get stuck, right? I can't pull it out. But watch what happens when I turn my hips. I can, okay? You try this, lay down. Okay. I've got head arm side. You got a good wedge here and a cross face here. Okay? So get on your side and find base with your feet and start getting this shoulder out a little bit. Yeah, you move it back a little bit. Yeah, see, like, of course, it'll be this shoulder for me. Yeah, move it backwards. That's a really good point of emphasis. Okay? Better. Okay, now, when you do that, scoot your hips back and then forward. So that backward will make space, the forward will go where your knees are in between or your knee rather, is in between my knees. Look how it's like they were made to fit together. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. All right, so go ahead, start getting on your side. And yeah, hips back. See, that got that shoulder out. Now hips forward. Bring it in. Good. And we're gonna wedge right there. Okay, now get your head away from me. Go back, good. See, that stretched my grip away. Right now, start turning on your side and clearing that hook. Good, close guard. There you go, good. See, you even accidentally got that hook stuck in. You use the same concept we're talking about to clear it out. You. Okay, just turn on your side. Hip out, hip in. Start turning on your hips. Yeah, turn, and you got it. Okay? And we've seen in some previous classes, sometimes somebody's got their arm right here. Sometimes, but this happens, he's got an arm lock, right? But he can also just shuck it off your head and take the back. Yes. So, when you do a good job at getting the guard back, that's the kind of stuff that becomes available. Okay? Now, this other one is against cross-side control. And what we want to think here is really two modes of thinking. One, a lot of times we get frustrated, we'll be like, man, okay, I want my guard back. And I don't care what side control they have, that's like, sometimes that's the
the best thing you can strategize to do, like, I gotta get my guard back. Yeah, reversal would be great, but I gotta get my guard back. And then you're so used to what we just did with the head, arm, side, mouth. That's what everybody's most used to. But then they switch their hands. And one thing that you could look at both of these escapes we're doing, put me in cross side control, please. That's where the elbow is across. Yes. Okay. Is, you know, this is an interplay between this one and the last one. And it's the concept I mentioned can work on the last one against a very aggressive attacker. But what this really is headlock defense. If I can't move my head, I can't fight. Think about a boxer. Boxers have good head movement, right? Imagine if they couldn't move their head. They wouldn't be as good of a boxer. They would have to rely on so much more, right? And then imagine, guess what moves when you move your feet? Your head. So no footwork either, right? So it's like head movement. We need to be able to move that thing. It's the end of the lever. So Micah, snug your elbow up. Yes. See, so how am I going to get on my side, right? And you saw even him, like when I was holding his head arm a little bigger than he is, he's having a hard time getting his shoulder out and stuff. So what do we do when we can't like go past a certain point? I can kind of turn underneath the space I've got right now, especially if I did something like a pendulum, right? And I can get my knee in, but then really be tight. Bring your knee, yes. I'm not going to get my head away like I was in the last escape to recover the guard. So what I gotta do is keep moving my hips forward and under him. When I do that, I'm just gonna drop him into my guard. A lot of times this will turn into an effortless sweep here, during the transition. Like every time I teach this, people accidentally fall over when the person on bottom gets it, okay? And this is one I teach to everyone. Okay, so again, this is an interplay. If you can't go, out, you're gonna go in. And in is also underneath them, okay? So get on your side, hips in. I didn't even need to get very much on my side, and I haven't got that shoulder out like we were talking about. Again, this is like when you can't do that. My head's stuck, be tight. All right, so I don't go this way. He's pushing his elbow this way. He's telling me which way to go. Boom. And that's the closed guard. All right, you try. I've got a good cross side control here. Get on your side, hip out, and then back in with the knee in the center. Yes, good. Now I'm not gonna let you go any further. Okay, so use your base and shovel your hips underneath me. Yes. Now push that in. Yes. Boom. Yes, you could have had a sweep, but you think from a 3-month student, what's a sweep, What's a sweep? They're still seeing like posture and guard. Like think about all the things you had delayed time on, like really, like man, that's kind of, my philosophy professor used to always say, hold on, this is gonna get kind of heady, right? Like you have to think about it. And there's jiu-jitsu concepts and principles are like that, okay? So this I moved over here. Go ahead and escape. Yes, good. Yeah, I'm not gonna let you go any further. So go the direction I'm pulling you. Yes. There you go. And look, you take my back easily from here. Okay. So I would say that is guard recovery fundamentals, right? Recovering your guard is like one of the first things I remember learning in jiu-jitsu. It's just a fundamental skill. You've got to be able to do it from all of the pins, from side control, from mount, from knee on belly, right, and from the back. The 4 main holding positions and controlling positions that we put people in, learn in this course. And we gotta also, throughout this course, learn how to get out of those. And that's one of the true values of what we're doing. Is, I was thinking about this morning, is the sheer number of escapes. Like 2 great ones today, right? Like these 2, like the second one we did particularly, but those like are 2 of my paired favorites. right? We'll see a couple more paired favorites when someone's trying to mount you next time. And then the like real aggressive attacker, like can't get your head out, because, you know, again, I think about a good cross side against a strong person that's aggressive, or a head arm is a headlock defense. Like, I got to get my head up, right? You're clamping it down like that. That head arm side can be so uncomfortable. Imagine you got hit in the jaw and dropped, and then that was on your face, right? So, but I will say this too: head arm side mount. That's one of the positions. There's seemingly more escapes to that version of side control than any other. Probably because it's effective, but two, because it's got a lot of weak points in it. It's overcommitment. All right. Thanks, guys.